Welcome back. It's episode 25 of Hi, how you all doing? Welcome back. It's episode 25 of Where Yellows Walk. Lots of games for Oxford this week. We are smack bang just previewing. Hello, welcome back to Where Yellows Walk, episode 25. We are reviewing the Blackburn game. We know it's a long time ago now, but of course we do review every game on this channel. We're talking about the new signings, how they've done so far. We're saying thank you to Dane Scarlett as he returns to the Premier League, and AI is predicting Oxford's away fixtures that are left. How many points will the Yellows pick up, and will it be enough to keep them out of danger? Plus, we're continuing our discussions on the worst ever Oxford 11, and talking about our worst ever strikers. Last week, Sam put Jack Stevens in goal for this worst ever Oxford 11. Connor's back with us this week, and they'll be picking the worst two strikers. So stay to the end of the video and find out who they pick. Right then, lots to discuss. First of all, lots of new signings, Connor. How happy are you, first of all, with Helik from Huddersfield?
Absolutely delighted. I think he came in, he was, especially at this moment when we lost Nelson back at the start of the season and now losing Elliot Moore. He's been brilliant, bless him, Sam Long, but I think that Helik is definitely going to come in and was an upgrade. With Helik, I thought the first 10 minutes against Blackburn, he was a little bit shaky and just getting himself into the game. We're not even sure if he even had whole training session with the team, but as he grew into the game, you could see how much quality he was. You could see that he was definitely at least a top half championship player, and that's just the kind of thing that we needed at the back, definitely in a time when we in a little bit of an injury crisis at the back, I would say a little bit. So, and especially with, it seems how Rowett is wanting to play, having such a high back line, having that nice solid defensive stability at the back has been really, really good.
He's a solid championship defender, and any Huddersfield fan that you'll speak to, we spoke to many last year, saying he's an absolute solid defender. No nonsense, doesn't mess around with the ball, just gets rid when needed to, and has a very sharp eye for danger as well. So that's a good one. Sam, talk us through Bradshaw from Millwall.
So Tom Bradshaw is a signing that I'm a little bit underwhelmed by. Obviously, by today's events, it's kind of good time that we brought him in, because if you look at the course of his career, in the championship, I'm just focusing on the championship. Obviously, you know, there are one or two seasons other than this one, but under Gary Rowett in the 22-23 campaign, I believe it was his only time in the championship scoring 10 goals or more. He got 17 that season. The rest of his championship career at Millwall and at Barnsley, he struggled, and he's not got a whole lot of, you know, of goal contributions in total. And best season before that were at Walsall. He got 17 goals back to back in League One. So it's a lad that does know where the goal is and his experience, but not at the levels I think that we would want. I will say I do appreciate that we've got a more experienced head in the striking department to give some some backing towards Mike Harrison, also to some of the younger lads like Louis Griffiths. And, you know, we saw when he came on against Blackburn that, you know, he didn't get near the goal, but that kind of very smart play around the area in those latter stages of the game. So he was kind of, you know, causing problems even if he didn't have the ball at his feet.
And that leads us now. Before I move on to the last one, our Millwall fans were delighted that you took him off his hands. He's one of the most frustrating players that they've had. They asked if you take George Honeyman as well. That would be great. That was their message. Connor, what about the lad from Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the best introduction against Exeter, going on 10 seconds later, go 3-1 down. But against Plymouth and against
Blackburn.
Plymouth and Blackburn, my mind escapes me. He's been okay. He's come on and he's injected some energy into midfield, especially when we've had to take either Rodriguez or if Volk's come off. He's offered a lot more depth than we had in that position. It's having an option like Matos, as much as he's done well when he's come on, someone like McEachran, it's a bit more of a progressive option that we have to maybe get the ball forward a lot more, which just seems as I alluded to with Helik, which is how Rowett seems that he wants to play and move away from what he's done at Millwall, and also previously what he did a little bit at Birmingham, being a bit more progressive with how he's playing. And I think it's also showing with these signings that he's made in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. By the time you watch this, you'll have already watched the Luton game. So apologies, we're talking about games which are well gone, but the points are still valid. The Blackburn game, Isaac Pearson says, "Can we now also get Lord Brown on a new chunky deal, please? Player of the season so far." Dr. Dance says, great name, by the way, Dr. Dance. A wonderful afternoon. Every Oxford player on the pitch was a top draw today. Seeing Cam score one of his magic free kicks in the Championship was a special treat. Come on, you Yellows. First of all, let's just sort out that free kick, shall we? Connor, it took a deflection, didn't it? Can we call it a wicked free kick?
It took a slight nick, but it was on target, and that's all that matters. Being from the angle that I was, you could see as soon as it left his foot, it was going straight into the corner of the youngin back.
Cheers for that. Cheers for that, Connor. Some other takes from the game. We love Des, but the board have played a blinder. Let's bring in Gabriel as well to the conversation, who's also been very loud on Twitter regarding some of these points. Welcome, Gabriel, to Where Yellows Walk. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, thank you. Yeah. How are you guys?
Good. Yeah, good. Thank you. What's your take on this tweet at the top here from Ricardo, Gabriel? It says, "We love Des, but the board of player blinded." Were you one of these that were very sceptical when Des was sacked, and then now come 100% around?
Yeah, I mean, it came as a shock really to everyone in the fan base. No one expected it, and I think the board and everyone involved has done a great job to get Gary Rowett in, and it's worked out. It's worked out very well so far, and I think long term could be maybe a bit of an issue, but certainly short term, it's looking good so far.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Gabriel. The other tweets here say, "What have you done, Gary Rowett?" And my friends call me Matt. Says, "We look like a Championship side today. A huge result." I mean, explain to me, Sam. I actually saw that tweet from a number of people saying we actually look like a Championship side. We look like the real business. Is that disrespectful a bit to what was before? That you look like a Championship side now?
Yeah, because I mean, so the best performance of the season before this game was the Norwich win, 2-0 under Des. I mean, if you go back and look up until the Sunderland game, up to that point, we've been competitive in every single match we played. So we looked like a Championship side. I mean, for Christ's sake, up until, I think a few weeks before that, we were still kind of mid-table, with touching distance of the playoffs. So there is a bit of disrespect there towards kind of Des's time at the club. I think what Rout's done is he's kept it simple. He's, as we've talked about before, focused on being defensively solid. And this is something that you and I have talked about before, Mark, is that he's kept the identity of this football club intact in that we play progressive, forward-thinking football, but just making sure that when we've got the opposition coming towards us, that we are solid. And that's, the perfect combination for an Oxford United side in the Championship.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, every other club we talk to, Derby in particular, who are contemplating now sacking Paul Warne and others, all looking at that model that you've done there, Connor, and what the decision the board took and the timing of it as well, and gave him a chance, sacked him before Christmas, giving the new manager time to embed with the players, and then giving him a transfer window to work on. They deserve a lot of credit, don't they?
I think they do. Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier and thinking about how many other clubs around us, or in and around that time when we did let Des go, how many of them sacked or got rid of their manager before? And I'm just thinking that Rowett was there. He was waiting for the right club, and how proactive that the board have been to be able to go in and be able to get Rowett as quickly as they did when he was there and he was waiting. Whereas we've seen other clubs now around at the bottom, like a Plymouth, for example, when Rooney should have gone a lot earlier. Hull, when they got rid of their manager, and Luton as well, hanging on for as long as they did. All clubs that you could see, maybe bar Plymouth, and even now Derby could have potentially gone back to Derby, and I still think that if he went into Derby, he could do something. But the overarching point of what I'm trying to say is that the board have been very proactive and saw the warning signs very, very early. And, that bold call is paying dividends at the moment.
Absolutely. This weekend, then, you're off to the Potteries and off to Stoke City, Gabriel. Last time you played Stoke, it was a 1-0 victory for you. And this was back in September. This must feel like a lifetime ago, Gabriel. Mazzuni scored just after half time. Stoke were poor on the day, and actually, I think it was one of Schumacher's last games. I think. Actually got him the sack, didn't you? Now we spoke to Stoke. They are ready to give Gary Rowett a very hot reception when he walks down the touchline. Of course, he spent £60 million with Stoke on some very bang average players and did nothing with them. How do you see this game going at the weekend? They're a tricky side, Stoke, because they're starting to play a lot more on the ground, and they've got some very, very pacey wingers, and of course Nathan Lowe is back and has already scored. Would you take a draw, Gabriel, at the Bet365 or not?
I think I would. Yeah. Yeah, as you said, like with Stoke, you never know what you're going to get to you. Got a decent draw against West Brom the weekend, but they're always so inconsistent. And no, I think I would take a draw, definitely away. If it was at home, I'd probably definitely be wanting 3 points, but away from home, I'd take a point. Yeah.
Okay. Let us know what you think in the comments. We did ask AI to predict all Oxford away games left to come, as we did last week with Sam and predicted all the home games. Here's what they said for the away games. They said you were going to win 2 more games away from home between now and the end of the season. They predicted you're going to win at Derby away in a couple of weeks' time and at Cardiff in April. But other than that, you were going to draw at Hull and draw at Swansea. So that is a total of, let me do my maths, 8 points to come from home, with losses to Burnley, West Brom, Norwich, Middlesbrough and Sheffield Wednesday. So my question to you all is, would you take that, Sam?
No, I don't think I would. It's interesting because I think if we were talking, like, if we had this in front of us a couple of weeks ago, I think I would have. But we've seen that a Gary Rowett side away from home can really frustrate opposition defences. So I don't doubt that we'll probably go to Turf Moor, we'll go to Pride Park, we'll go to the Hawthorns and all those other grounds, and we'll frustrate the opposition. But that's the most important part: is try your hardest to not lose your away games and do your best to win your home games. That's what's going to keep us in the division. I think it is probably when we get battered when we go to Turf Moor. But I think maybe that game at Hull. I think maybe Norwich, maybe Sheffield Wednesday, depending where they are in the campaign. We've certainly got a chance against some of those opposition. Okay,
Connor, would you take 8 points?
I'd take 8. Well, no, I wouldn't. I totally agree with Sam. But generally speaking, if you include home form, really you need about 5 more wins for us to stay up, if that is the absolute minimum aim. If there was 2 wins in there and then another 3 wins at home, say against a Luton, a Portsmouth, and let's just throw in Bristol City, why not? Because it would be somewhat sweetish. Then yeah, I'll take it.
Actually, when we did theirs, it is predicting they will lose that game to you when it comes up. What about you, Gabriel? Would you take 8 points away from home now?
No, I think I'd be wanting more, to be honest. I think Burnley's the only one there where I'd be looking at and thinking, no, we can't get anything from that. But all the rest of their games, I think we've got a chance of getting something from them. Probably, definitely Cardiff and Swansea is last 2, because we might already have confirmed safety by then. But I certainly think those 2 games we can try and go for, get 3 points. I don't know, I'd be taking maybe, let's say, 12, 13 points back to them.
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. And isn't it wonderful what a couple of wins gives you? Listen to all of you. We might be safe by the time we go to Swansea. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that a couple of weeks ago? Finally, to finish off then, thank you for all your support as well. We are so close to 100 subscribers. Can you help us get there? 2 weeks at the end of January. Help us get to 100 subscribers by pressing the subscribe button. Follow Sam and Connor on Twitter at the respective handles there. And obviously do follow Connor at Talker72 as well. And Gabriel will put his Twitter handle in the comments in the description below. Right, we're on to the worst ever Oxford 11. Now, last week, as we said, Sam decided to put Jack Stevens in goal as the worst ever goalkeeper that he's seen. So we're asking this week for your worst ever strikers. Help us out with this, put in the comments below. Gabriel, you're new to this, so we'll give you some thinking time. Can you have a think about who the worst ever striker you've seen for your club is? And we'll come back to you in a second.
Yeah, we'll
Connor, kick this off for us. Can you give us one name?
I'm going to let Sam go first because I want to see if he comes up with the same name.
Go on then, Sam.
So I'm going to go for a lad who really, this wasn't the reason he would go down as probably, and like the same caveat we said last week, Mark, we've had some relatively decent strikers in our history in the last 20 years at least. This one lad, it wasn't his fault. He came on a 6-month loan, and there was an infamous picture of him when we went away to Barnsley sitting on his own away from the rest of the squad. I'm going to go with Tyler Smith. Made 7 appearances and, was, like I said, just sat on the bench and not even on the bench sometimes. It's not his fault. It was Carl Robinson, and then Liam Manning didn't fancy him, but unfortunately I've got to go with him.
Okay, Connor?
See, I was going to say Tyler Smith, but then I had to come up with a backup just in case because he would have been our worst ever striker. So I'm going to have to go with a chap called Egon Mehmeti, who was signed by Pep Clotet in 2017. A Swedish-Albanian striker who came in from the Turkish second division. Give him his due. He played, about 13, 14 games. He scored 1 goal, and then within 8 minutes into a second half, got a horrific injury, but it should have been picked up that by when he was in Turkey, he played next to no games because he was injured through basically his entire contract. And then when Carl Robinson came in, to be fair to Carl, to say what you say about him, he said, "You lot are gash that Pep Clotet bought in," so got rid of the load of them. But it was a mix-up. It was definitely going to be in the Pep Clotet era. It was either going to be Mehmeti or a chap called Gino Van Kessel, but Gino Van Kessel actually did score a couple of important goals. So we're going to have to go with Mehmeti.
Gabriel, I don't know if you're still there. Any thoughts? We seem to have lost him. No worries. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and have they missed any? Are there any glaringly obvious strikers which these two haven't been able to come up with? Right, that's it for this week then. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your trips wherever you're heading off around the country this week, and we'll join you in 7 days' time to review it all again. Next week, we're talking about the worst ever back four that we've ever seen in an Oxford United side. Join us for that. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Gabriel, if you're still there, and thank you, Sam, and thank you.